Well, hello, Knockout Nation. I'm your host, Noel Clubb, here on the Knockout TV show. And welcome to Spanish Sports World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app for respective iOS and Android app stores, as the app is absolutely free. And while you download, please make sure to rate and leave us a comment, simply because we want to hear from you folks. That's all. Zingo TV is also available on Google, Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks. Roku and Roku sticks are also available on all smart TVs from 2016 forward, So welcome to viewers at home watching the show around the world. So let's get ready to rumble and let's introduce today's super duper knockout panel, shall we? All right, first off, he is a very iconic knockout Canadian commentator and sports anchor, and he's also the host of Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show. Please welcome the one and the only, coming up, Joe Tilley to the show. Welcome, Joe. How you doing, man? Oh, we lost your audio, did we? Give a couple of seconds here, just the joys of live TV. Always lots of fun. We'll come back to Joe. On that note. Well, next up, she is a two-time Olympian. She's also won gold medals in 2011, 2015 Pan American Games, and won bronze at 2014 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. And just because she came back from Tokyo from the Summer Olympic Games and did a great job representing Canada, of course, as she always does. Please welcome the one and the very only Mandy Bujold to the show. Welcome, Mandy.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
So what's new? What's happening with you?
Oh my gosh, so much.
I know, right? Yeah. Especially with you.
Yeah. I guess right now I'm trying to figure out what's a new normal for me, and I started a new role. I think I was telling you about with Millions.co.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's a tech platform for athletes to be able to brand themselves and connect with fans. So it's really cool. I've been on the platform for quite a while, just selling my merchandise. Actually, we got JM on the platform in the last year.
Very cool.
But it's super cool what they're trying to do for athletes. It's really awesome. Right now, we just actually launched a Millions Gives a Million campaign. So they're actually just giving cash incentives to athletes to sign up and to give the platform a try. So if there's athletes that are listening and they want information, they can check it out at millions.co. They can reach out to me. But yeah, super awesome stuff.
So they kind of helps in terms of like funding and giving more exposure to athletes. Is that kind of the gist of it all?
Yeah. So essentially, like athletes, if they don't already have a logo, so essentially to prepare you for things
like branding, pretty much, right?
Exposure. Yeah. So athletes who don't have a logo, we help them create a logo. If you already have one, we can essentially get them up and have an e-commerce platform to be able to sell their merchandise. So think like shirts, hoodies, hats, all of that kind of stuff directly to their fans. Where I remember when I was starting out, like having to place orders, these large orders of 100, 200 shirts, and you're just guessing at what people are going to want. Then you're hand delivering them, like before 2016, kind of really funny, like hand delivering shirts. Like they take all of that away and help it super simple for athletes. And then there's some cool platforms where you can do some video content, which is exclusive content for your fans. So think behind the scenes, as you're preparing for a fight or the walk to the ring, your fans can now walk to the ring with you. So some pretty cool stuff happening there.
No, that's a fantastic idea. It's a great idea, actually, because you're right. Because that's a huge bit of clutter for any kind of athlete to kind of travel, engage through, is how to get your name out there. And with that kind of structure in place, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, hey, moving on, this amazing panel we got here today. Of course, as always on the show. So next up, he's a former CPBC boxing champion with a total of 19 bouts and 8 KOs. He's also an actor, by the way, folks. He starred in movies such as Phantom Punch and, of course, Resident movies Afterlife and Retribution. We love him here on the show. He's a regular. Well, he was a regular for quite a while, not recently, but he's back now. Here he is, the one and the only Raymond Big Ray Mount Kilamore Olubowale. Welcome to the show. How you doing, Big Ray?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you guys keeping?
Very good. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Too. You too. Yeah.
Wasn't that Mount Kilimanjaro? I thought. No.
It is Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, Kilimanjaro. I got kind of carried away there. Sorry, guys.
No, Knox out there earlier. Anyway, he's a big fella.
What's new with Raymond? What's new with you, man?
Much like Mandy, I'm trying to figure out what the new normal is.
Yeah, very true though.
Right. So things up in I live up in Toronto here. We have the gyms are starting to open up again. Well, have been for a little bit. So it's nice to actually be able to start teaching the kids again and getting that going. I was approached by a company to build. They have a box similar to that does a similar thing that Fire Stick does.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a competitor, so I won't say their name. But they've asked me to produce their boxing content. So.
Oh, is that right? You mentioned the name. You can mention the name. That's no problem.
Okay, so it's an Android box called Buzz TV.
Buzz TV.
Yeah.
Buzz TV.
Yeah, they've sold apparently like 350,000 boxes throughout the world.
Very good.
And what they're looking to do is they need boxing content, so I'm going to be putting on a host of shows. And I was with Talking Fights. I am no longer. I want to branch out onto my own. So look out for hardknocksathletics.com.
Right on.
It's coming out. And it will be showcasing my content also on my website. We're going to be looking at doing a series of shows, professional boxing shows starting in the new year. And in essence, what we're looking at doing is just an issue that is near and dear to me is compensation for the athletes. There isn't any. Like it's
correct, especially
it's
in Canada.
Really poor.
Very tough.
So I'm looking to set up a scenario where athletes are compensated properly. Champions are compensated properly. You know, you've done something amazing by being a Canadian champ, and then all of a sudden you're making less than minimum wage. If you chop it down and do the spreadsheet expense account, it's laughable, and it's got to stop. So I got a couple of things, a couple of rods in the fire, if you will, and starting the new year, look out for us. It's going to be something huge. We're going to be looking at doing a little mini tournament, 4 fighters per weight class, and because of the pandemic, me included, our titles got stripped for inactivity.
Right.
So to get our titles back, we'd have to fight again, and I'm fighting again.
You have a date
Mike
lined
and I are
up?
the same age, and I'm still fighting. What's your excuse, Mike?
Yeah, we know.
I'm staying retired, Ray. I'm staying retired.
Yeah, he's not doing it.
Unless I can get something against Jake or Logan Paul, I'm staying retired.
Yeah.
No, that's lucrative. That's very lucrative for you.
Yeah, has to be some big money involved.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
So you
big money and an easy fight. That's
an easy fight, that too. easy millions right there. Right?
On a side note, does that whole Jake Paul scenario like enrage you? Like as a collective, I'm talking to the panel, not just Mike. Being an actual fighter, it literally enrages me that he has made more than over 95% of all fighters ever, like in their careers.
I look at it from 2 perspectives. Like I can see, like it sucks for the athletes or the boxers that are like coming up and deserve that platform, but he created his own platform. Like,
He did.
so I commend him on that. Like, wow. Like, it's
it is a wow.
What he's done. And now I just saw he signed the Serrano sister, Amanda Serrano.
Amanda Serrano, yeah. I just saw that.
Yeah, and he's trying to like give them the platform that he created, which, hey, if he's going to start actually bringing real boxers in, like, he might be onto something. So I don't know. I'm kind of mixed. Like, it. Part of it's like, part of it sucks, and part of it's like, well, I mean, he did the work and he got there. So
no,
if it brings attention to the sport, it's good.
Yeah,
it's like
younger generation.
It's like my old boss, Pat Marsden. I don't know, long before most of your guys' time, but he was the sports director at CTV for many years. He hired me, and he used to say, I don't care if they like me, I don't care if they hate me, just as long as they watch. And he said, he said the only important thing is just spell the name right. That's what it comes to print media, right? Any media is good media, just spell the name right. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So
if it brings attention to boxing, it's good for boxing.
I think you're absolutely right. Like, nobody's talking about the world champion badminton player right now. I don't know who they are.
No.
But with that being said, and I truly don't know who to be mad at. Like, you had the fight with Mayweather and was it Jake or Logan Paul?
It was Logan Paul.
That was a little. That was
Logan,
pretty,
yeah.
That was pretty loose to call it a fight, I think. Right?
Well, exactly. You're absolutely right. But
you had an event of some kind with Logan Paul and Mayweather.
But the thing is, again,
I wouldn't call it a fight.
But again, it brings attention to the sport of boxing. Again, they didn't compete playing badminton or crocheting or anything, right? And at first I was like, what is Mayweather thinking? But then I had to take a step back and realize, like, Mayweather said, this is legalized bank robbery. You're paying me over $100 million to fight somebody that is nowhere remotely close to being on the spectrum of being a competitor of his. And they just
who wouldn't do that?
Money. Like, he won the lottery.
Who wouldn't take that paycheck?
Right?
Yeah, really.
Yep.
So you can't hate on him for it.
Yeah.
But I'm just, I don't know how to. One, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, at the end of the day, I'm really struggling with accepting it. But then, like Mandy said, like, if it can be used for good, by all means. Secondly, it's actually, yes, it's drawing attention to the sport, but I still find it hard to swallow. Like, Marvin Hagler made $20 million in his last fight against Sugar Ray Leonard. That one fight was more money than all his 13 prior fights with for the world title combined.
Yeah,
he made more money on that one fight. To think that Logan Paul, doing some kind of charade of what boxing is, made the exact same money as a legend like him.
Yeah,
I don't know. It irks me.
Yeah, it's definitely different for all of us, because you're dealing with the purists. Like, we are more the purists. You deal with the younger generation, where it's more of like definitely is truly, it's still entertainment regardless, but their form of entertainment is probably different from our idea of entertainment comes to what boxing is, it seems. It's still a good thing. I mean, I'm not a big fan of it either, but it's still a good thing. It gets the word out there, and it gets the attention out there that the sport does need. So yeah, I hear you though. As a purist, it's like
that's a great way to. Well, the way I would look at it is, how do you spin that to get more kids in the gym, right?
Yeah,
like, start using that as your advertising. Like, hey, you think you think you can be the next Jake
Paul?
I don't even know.
That's something to strive for.
Yeah, but it's like
exactly high standards right there. I know.
Well, you know what? Anybody can be an internet superstar, right? And then it just depends how you market yourself, and then pretend to be a boxer, and all of a sudden people start to think you are. That's all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then you can make a lot of money at it. No matter what you do, you can make a lot of money at it if you market yourself properly.
Yeah.
So I mean, It's just a different time and a different world. There was a
Yeah.
time when you actually had to be a fighter in order to make that kind of money.
Yeah.
Oh, yesterday.
Sad but true right now. Sad but true. I should finish off the panel here, guys. I like 2 more people to go here.
Oh yeah.
2 more great folks introduced to the whole world, or reintroduce the whole world again. So next up on this amazing panel, he is a great Canadian ambassador who fought for Canada in 3 consecutive Olympic Games. First off, he was, of course, in Barcelona 92, Atlanta 96, and Sydney 2000. He won 350 amateur fights. He won gold medals in 94 and 98 Commonwealth Games. Please welcome the one and the only Mike Buddha Strange to the show. Right on, there he is.
That's the girlfriend's Buddha, yeah. That's a story in itself.
Blame
Thank
the
you guys.
girlfriend.
It's great to be on this amazing panel. And I said it before the show, but so proud of Mandy and what she accomplished at the last Olympics there, and even before. What she did for young women around not only Canada, the world, for what you've gone through and the discrimination they were trying to not let you be allowed at these Olympics. So you're just, and then being at the Olympics at a different time where there was no fans, security, probably getting tested all the time. It's just, that's a story in itself, you know, and then not being able to be there through the whole Olympic process because they want you out of the village, I think within, I don't know if it was 24 or 48 hours. So that's it's an unbelievable story, and it's something that should be documented. And I just want to say, just in Canada, so proud. I was glued the whole time. All the women and the one man did unbelievable for the sport of boxing in Canada, and very proud of you, Mandy, and the example you set. I think there's some leadership, politics, or something's in store for you in the future. For sure.
Well played.
Yeah.
You're trying to recruit you over to your side.
Yes, come over to the other side.
Thank you.
Yeah, because what you did, Mandy, was a gold medal. That was
that was
gold
great.
medal, what you did there. It was amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So we're proud of you, Mandy. Well done.
Thanks.
There's no documentary.
How was it
I'll make that
watching,
happen. I'll make that happen.
Being a woman at the Olympics and watching Team Canada women's soccer.
Yeah.
I know you probably weren't there at the time, but like it's got to be just wow.
Yeah.
To be part of that Olympics, there's got to be something just so extraordinary, probably indescribable, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, there were definitely some highlights, some good moments. I actually was watching that one with my daughter when I was back.
I think you guys had to be out of there in 48 hours, right after the competition.
Yeah, 14 hours we had to leave. But honestly, like Mike, the Olympics were not at all what you went through. They were completely like they took all the fun out of it, unfortunately. Because
no kidding.
Right? Yeah. Like none of the celebration. There was like no gathering. We couldn't even really, like the fun part of like walking around the village and like recognizing other athletes from other sports. You couldn't really do that because everyone's had their face covered with a mask. So you just kind of had your head down, did what you had to do. But nonetheless, it was still a pretty big moment. And for me, like I said, the biggest win for me was getting there and the precedent-setting case that got me there. And unfortunately, I didn't get the performance that I wanted. Part of that through, leaving all that energy in the courtroom.
Well, not being able to compete in so long too, and not being able to peak at the right time where a lot of the other countries were allowed to, right? So you did well. You did a fantastic, and I think I messaged you over Messenger that you did really, really well, and you proved that you were at the top elite of in your weight class for sure.
Yeah, because your challenges you had were phenomenal. Those are phenomenal challenges you had there.
I couldn't imagine, like, say you went on to go to the finals and you have none of your team there because they've all lost. How do you get the support that you need? Sleeping at night by yourself, not having somebody talking in your ear and saying you can do this, and so proud of you. Like it's the whole team. We're there as an individual sport, but you need your team there. Even though I remember, fighting in Atlanta and having Casey Patton, even though he lost, but he's encouraging me the whole time. He's allowed to stay through the whole process, and you need those teammates to pump you up, to pump your tires, because, without them, you're nothing. You need that someone backing you, getting in the ring and motivating you as you're entering that ring. And sometimes, if you don't have your teammates there, who do you have?
Yeah, and even the fact that the crowd, like that was a big thing for me. Is like that walk to the ring, like because we hadn't competed in 18 months, it was like, okay, you haven't fought in 18 months. Here you go to the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you got no fans, so it feels like you're going in for a sparring session.
That's exactly what it felt like. I had to stand up in between rounds. Like I let the coach talk to me for a second. I had to stand up and be like, okay, this isn't training. This is the fight. This is the fight. But I just couldn't find that like here because it just been so long. Like
it's too bad they couldn't have brought like 5,000 computer screens in there and could have had a virtual attendance thing riled up.
Yeah.
Would have been something. Could make some money on it too. Sell a seat for.
That's true.
Or some fake cheering. That at first they had said they were going to actually have like this sound cheering, and but when it came down to it was complete silence. So there was nothing to like bring up, like that, like okay, this is happening. Anyway.
Yeah, very challenging. Very challenging.
It would have been like such a difference when we were at the Pan Am Games in say Toronto.
Yeah, you fuel off the audience as well too, right?
Yeah, very true. Now I was there for that event too when you were at the Pan Am, so it was very cool.
Yeah,
very cool moment. Wait, okay, well, more important to introduce here on the show before we run out of time.
Are you like 20 minutes in?
It's a great intro so far, I have to say. Yeah. Well, next up, he's a talented boxer at a Combat Arts Training Academy located in Mississauga, Ontario. He's a 3-time Ontario Golden Gloves champion and is currently waiting his professional boxing debut. Please welcome, we know him as JM. Please welcome John Michael Bianco to the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me back, man.
Yeah, man. How are you doing? How are things?
Oh, good, man. I'm, just staying, keeping busy, training a lot still. We're getting ready for my debut. So we signed with management now, and we're pretty much just staying ready until I can get a fight.
Do you have a rough idea of something possibly maybe coming up?
Maybe like November, December.
Yeah, around that time frame?
I'm hoping something sooner, but really depends, right? I know Ontario is opening up, but I don't think we're gonna have anything here anyway. So we're kind of shooting for November right now. If not very December, good. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah. Well, keep us posted on your next fight development there, and get you back on the show again.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Jacob just got married. Did he tell you that?
No, he did not tell me that.
Oh yeah, I just
congratulations!
Thank you.
So tell us about the lucky lady, man.
She's great. We've been together for like 5 years. Actually, she boxes as well. She had about 10 fights. So it's been great, and I took some time off during the wedding, and we enjoyed our marriage, and now we're gonna enjoy our marriage for the rest of our lives. So it's great, man. And she's like my #1 fan, and she supports me so much, and just makes this boxing life easy. A little bit easier than what it is.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Need that support, like Mike was saying, especially at home.
Yeah, especially at home. Yeah.
But it really counts the most.
Yeah.
So just kind of build what Manny mentioned earlier about how things opening up in the course in the province for competition earlier. So Boxing Ontario did announce they're going to be hosting their first return to competition event, which will be October 16th, to be held at the Don Valley Hotel, which is at 175 Winford Drive in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So folks, please support your local amateur boxers as they are tomorrow's heroes, as you can see here on the show right now.
Is that like is that a tournament, or is it like just like a fight, like one-day fight?
I think it's a tournament by the looks of the way they're kind of posting. I could be incorrect, but it's looking like more of a tournament. It's really like a test. It's really like a test show to see how it all goes. It's for being the first show after the year and 9 months of being locked down, right?
Is it like with spectators too?
Well, that's the thing. I haven't seen all the details yet as far as what's going to be allowing for capacity, because it's not a huge venue, as you know, because we've all been there for provincials like over the years. So it's not particularly very large. So it's going to be obviously the COVID-19 restrictions involved, but how many people can fit inside there to watch and spectate, that's going to be yet to be determined yet.
Cool.
But I think it's like 30% or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
30% capacity, 25 or 30
there. Yeah,
indoors.
Exactly. So, guys, on some boxing world news here. So, of course, last weekend we had Anthony Joshua, who fought against Usyk, and quite the upset there, by the way. But depends on which side you're on the fence, because I kind of felt that was a tough fight going into the fight for Joshua, And sure enough, he had a tough time. So, knockout panel, what are your thoughts and reflections and insights in last weekend's showdown?
Skills pays the bills, man.
Yeah, it sure does.
And Usyk just had better skills. But personally, I actually thought Joshua was gonna, walk him down, kind of hunt him down, put him back on the ropes. But he just didn't. I don't know. It just wasn't his night. It wasn't his night.
Well, you know what?
He didn't use his size.
John,
he doesn't use his size.
So I watched the day before, and Anthony Joshua was getting interviewed, and they talked about, okay, what do you think is going to be? He goes, well, win or lose, it's going to be a really good fight. I'm just like, win or lose? What are you talking about? You don't have that confidence. Yeah. Then I watch him the day of, and we got it here a little bit earlier because it was in England, and I was watching my girlfriend, and you watch him, and Usyk comes out, and he's got that space helmet on, and he's focused. He comes out, and he's just boom right to the ring. You see him in the corner, and he's just like, boom. Then you watch Anthony Joshua, and he comes out, and he's got this song going, and 2 songs, I think. And he's out there for 15 minutes, and he's pumping, and he's doing this, and then it didn't even seem. You thought he was going to a WWE show. I really thought that. He didn't seem to focus on him. And he came out, and it didn't even look like he had a plan. Where Usyk looked like, Lomachenko. He was just like, but obviously, a guy that's 80 pounds heavier than him. But he had that same kind of style. He knew exactly what he was doing. And to be honest with you, I think he could have took him out a lot. Like, I know he knocked him down and had him in trouble in the last round, but I think if he would have put some pressure on him, he could have taken him out. I really do. And you just see a guy who's well focused. Well, and he's coming up from cruiserweight up to over 220 pounds, like such a big difference. It's not like when Michael Spinks came up from 178 and fought, and he had to put weights in his pocket to fight Larry Holmes, and he was at 201 at that point. Right. And he did, and he gave it to Larry Holmes at that weight, which was amazing and so underrated. But to see a guy like Usyk coming and see his focus, he had a plan, and it just seemed like the other corner didn't have any plan at all. Didn't know what to do.
Completely. Yeah. Not to mention,
but we talked about that. We talked about that, a couple of weeks ago, just before the fight. Where we had the conversation in the show, and it's like you got 2 guys, both are Olympic champions. At the same from London. Usyk was, cruiserweight, basically champion, and Joshua is super heavy, and they're both, undefeated. Well, no, they weren't undefeated, but they both were Olympic champions, Olympic gold medalists. They both had titles. It was a fight where you could see they were both great fighters. We, as a panel, kind of gave the nod to Joshua because of the size advantage, which he never took advantage of, right?
Correct.
And he never just right from the word go, he just never seemed to have the killer instinct, the desire, the focus, and Mike talked about it, touched on that, the focus that Usyk had in that fight. He was all business, wasn't dancing around and whatever Joshua was doing. He was focused. And it was all about business. Something was not right with Joshua. I don't know what it was. Who knows? Only he would know for sure, or his people would know for sure. But he just didn't look right. But Usyk is a hell of a fighter. Yes. He's a hell of a fighter, and we saw that. He is. And Joshua was beaten. And Mike was talking about Usyk not possibly being able to stop him. Yes, but if Usyk stops him, remember, you've got a rematch with Joshua coming up, and that would be, if he stops him, maybe that jeopardizes the rematch. But you got a big money rematch with Joshua coming up, and then after that, providing you win that fight, and no reason to think why Usyk wouldn't win that fight after watching the first one. Then you got the unification, Tyson, Fury. That's right.
With Usyk,
you've got the unification potential with Usyk right there, and there's there's a lot of big fights down the road if you can just keep it going.
Yeah, and the big thing, Joe, is that Usyk never really. I'm telling you, outside the boxing world, nobody would even know who Usyk is.
So true.
They wouldn't. Now he's got a brand
outside the Ukraine.
Something he can build on, and he is such a good, smart fighter. He's got such a great chin, and he knows how to absorb punches against. You got a guy like Anthony Joshua who can punch like a tree, and he can just like absorb those punches and roll with the punches, and you got, it's not easy to to gain like 23, 24 pounds and fighting right out of your weight class. You know, you just got to slow you down a bit, but he was hurting him. You know, he was just sharp.
Right.
His punches were so accurate. He just fought amazing. And hopefully people are going to know who this guy is now.
Yeah. I think
and defensive skills too, right? Yeah.
I think that like when even the commentators were saying that like, oh, Joshua's so much bigger, Joshua's got to use his size, but I kept thinking, well, wait a second, the smaller guy is going to be a little bit more agile. He's going to be quicker. He's going to be able to like get in, get out without getting hit. And I remember Adrian to the rescue when I was working with him. He loved Usyk, and he would always send me videos and be like, "Watch this guy, watch this guy." And to be honest, I would watch like the small parts that he wanted me to watch for a move, but I never really like paid too much attention until this fight. And I understand why Adrian really liked watching him, because he's really, like you said, like Lomachenko, like some of those moves, like as a southpaw, when he was like really far on the other side, like it's hard to hit someone when they're on that angle.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, he did it really well.
Doing slide steps,
They're always getting hit at. They're always they're always taking the punch at the end, at the extended punch. Like they're always glancing away from it. They're always away from the punch. Like Lomachenko is the same way. What is it about those Ukrainians? Is it the maple syrup? You know, the Klitschko brothers and Usyk.
Good court going on over there. That's
oh my God, they're doing something right over the Ukrainian with their fighters. That's for sure. But these guys, you know, they've learned a lot in the amateurs, man. They learned a lot in the amateurs. They had a lot of amateur fights, and they, you know, solid careers before they turned pro. I'm talking about Lomachenko and Usyk, of course, but you know, a lot of amateur experience, and they've taken all their skills to the pros, and they just look really polished, and they don't make mistakes. They just don't make mistakes.
No, they're very polished here, right? Yeah. But I think it's so wild too. Like to build on your point there, Joe, is like how a Ukrainian fighter like Lomachenko brought back, in my opinion, the Cuban slide step, going the reverse one, and of course going the other direction, and it's kind of really made it very popularized that movement all over again, which is I thought was kind of cool. It's fantastic footwork over there.
I think it's good. We're going to be going into some interesting times when it comes to the whole boxing scene, the heavyweight scene at least. Right
we're
now,
in transition of some kind right now.
Well, I'm exceptionally interested to see what the rematch is going to produce. I want to see what can AJ actually correct wrongs. There's certain things that I thought that AJ has had plaguing him since the beginning of his career, and even though he was winning, he was always successful. He still did the same mistakes. Like he has a stance where his lead hand is like practically touching his chin, cheekbone, right? As opposed to the more European style with his hand out here.
Further out.
When your hand is out here, it makes it easier or makes it harder for your opponent to get away from your jab. From here, you're throwing like a Scud missile at them, and they see it from, well, not a mile away, but they get that much more time. And finally, somebody really made him pay for it. Usyk fought beautifully. It was arguably one of my favorite fights of all time.
Really?
Genuinely. I studied that fight like 3 times already, and it's only a couple weeks. The way he slid in, he led him through that jab, and from, he'd slip outside of the power, but come back with his own cross. His reach is only 78 inches. For you mere mortals, that's a lot. For us gorillas,
well, thank you, Ray.
That's nothing. Okay? Only 78 inches. AJ's reach was 82. And yeah, it's 4 inches, but still, you know, he was touching him way too easily. And
I agree.
Finally.
And
he's
got
to find a way to use that range, no question.
He stays within his range. He stays an inch away from where Anthony Joshua was kind of pawing, like, you know what I mean? Where Usyk was right there. Within 2 seconds, boom, snap, and then right out. And he's just got that. He's not 5 inches away. He's like a half inch away where he's within range, boom. You know, and he can hit him at all time. You know what's going to be very interesting is what happens with Usyk after this. Because if, say he does beat Joshua again, we saw 2 guys who came up from light heavyweight and cruiserweight. One was Michael Spinks. He beat Larry Holmes, and then he got knocked out against Mike Tyson, and that was it. He was done. He only lost once. And could have been the best boxer of all time. And then you look at Roy Jones. went up, beat John Ruiz, came back down, got KO'd by Tarver. Now, what happens with Usyk now? You know, it's a big weight change. Does he fight Tyson Fury after this and ruin his undefeated legacy, or does he beat Oshawa? He'd get millions and millions of dollars and then ride off into the sunset, and known probably as one of the best boxers of all time and undefeated as a pro. That's going to be the key.
Of course he's going to fight. Of course he's going to continue. Show me one fighter who never continued. You know what I mean? Show me one fighter ever turned down the payday.
No, exactly.
Oh, yeah,
I agree.
True.
And the same thing with you think you're invincible, right? But a guy who's beefed up to 220 from like 195. It's a lot of weight to put on. He's not that same. And now you got a guy like Tyson Fury who's just got on such a long reach. And Tyson Fury is going to come out and turn into a war. He don't care. And he's got a way better chin than Anthony Joshua.
Oh, no
And
doubt.
he's a better boxer. He's a better boxer.
Yeah.
Do you think he has a better chin than AJ?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd say so.
Really?
Well, he's never really been tested except for Wilder, who put him on his can and almost knocked him out. But
he's been dropped a few times in the past.
He went to cruiserweight, a 210.
No, but what I'm saying, maybe the chin might be suspect a little bit, but he's got a bigger heart than anyone, especially.
Sure.
Right.
He'll get knocked down. He'll come back.
Well put, Mike.
He's fought his cousins, his sisters. He's fought every relative. He is a gypsy. So he don't care. He's going to command the fight.
Well said.
And all I'm worried about is Usyk and his legacy. You know what I mean? He's going to be a god in Ukraine, and what goes on from here is up to him. But he can go down. He can go back down to cruiserweight. And right over the sunset.
But that's where the money is. That's where the money is. So
money
here's what I'm saying.
Millions here. He's going to get probably 50 to 100 million his next fight, and say, well, you know what? I need another $150 million to live life after this. I'm not sure. I don't think you need that much.
Yeah, but everybody wants to see. But everybody, let's assume he beats Joshua the second time, and there's no reason to think he wouldn't after watching the first, right? So he beats Joshua the second time.
Listen, Joshua's going to have to get a new team, new setup, new everything.
Yeah. New team. He's going to get. If I'm working with Joshua,
entourage, not a 30-minute entourage.
Right. Shorten that baby up. Also, but I'm going to use that size. I'm going to lean on him. I'm going to throw my weight on top of him. I'm going to lean on him. I'm going to lean on him all the way around the ring. I'm going to tire him out like that. I'm just going to keep using that weight, leaning on him, and trying to get him to expend some energy, wear him down, and then maybe later on in the fight when I then he can start being aggressive. But he wasn't aggressive enough anyway.
Joshua,
if he does,
he does not. He's never had that in him. You saw him against Ruiz.
But that's what you have to do.
He quits.
Yeah.
But you can teach an old dog new tricks. Lennox Lewis was a better fighter when Emmanuel Stewart took over as his trainer, right?
How to beat Usyk, no problem. But I don't think you can teach Joshua unless he lands a big shot.
You can't teach. Heart,
but let's say
you can't give a fighter a new heart.
Yeah, can't teach that way. Yeah, correct.
Right. But let's say Usyk gets past Joshua the second time around. Okay, now everybody's going to say, and then let's say that Fury knocks out Wilder for the third time, but for the third fight. So let's say that happens. Okay, I mean we can make that's a pretty safe assumption, don't you think? I think probably we'd all probably agree that's probably going to happen. So
I think
Fury wins. Fury wins. And Usyk wins. Everybody's going to want to see that fight. It's going to be one of the biggest. It probably will be. It'll probably will be the biggest 100%. Heavyweight pay-per-view gate fight in history. Only because you're going to get two guys who are undefeated, two guys that have a portion of the belt, and this will be a unification.
Both will fight.
Yeah,
right.
Well put.
Right. It'll be a hell of a fight. It'll be one everybody wants to see. And Usyk will not be able to turn that down. He can't turn that down. No, and why would he? And who would let him, man? We wouldn't let him turn it down. We were knocking on his door. Usyk, get out here and fight this guy, man. Everybody wants to see that fight. Come on.
Exactly. Make it happen right now. Let's go. Let's go.
Sure. It's like we want to see Errol Spence fight Crawford.
Yeah.
We don't want to see all this crap in between.
But Joe, that's what they wanted to see. Michael Spinks against Mike Tyson. And 93 seconds later.
Well, You know what? But didn't we all most of us suspected that would happen?
Easily said no, and still could have been pound for pound probably the best.
But
of
he
all
had
time
to. He was forced to. You're right, Mike. 100%. If Usyk could be in the same boat, and he could be forced to do this, and maybe he doesn't want to do it, but he'll do it, just like Spinks did. But I'll tell you what: when Spinks got in the fight in the corner against Tyson, and he looked over at Tyson, and he saw that the animal that he was, he knew he was in for a beating. It was just a matter of time, and it was like, sure, it took 93 seconds or whatever. But really,
they offered him
it was
money,
just a matter of time because Tyson was.
They offered him
the
money,
money was there. He had to do it. He had to do it. Who's going to say no?
Yeah, he had to sacrifice himself for that one. That's for sure.
Usyk said that he's not fighting for the money. He's not fighting for history. He's fighting for the glory.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it's all a package deal. It's a package deal.
Maybe. Well,
you can't have one without the other. And if he wants glory, he's going to have to fight Fury.
I want to fight Fury.
If he wants glory, he's going to have to fight Fury. If he wants the glory, he's going to have to fight Fury. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, hey, talking about Fury, so you guys be watching that fight next weekend at Wilder versus Fury?
Oh, yeah.
We talk about it so many times here on the show, but you guys be watching that show? That fight?
He's always got a puncher's chance, man. He's always got a puncher's chance. You know, I mean, the guy hits that hard. And you saw the first fight. He connected twice, and both times Fury went down. That's why he was a different fighter the second time. He never give Wilder the chance. He fought without fear the second time.
But the thing is,
but I think Tyson Fury's going to use that same strategy. Just take it to him. Watch him for the first 2-3 rounds, and then you're gonna see Wilder just fade, and he's got no gas after 5, 6, 7 rounds. Right?
It's a
he's
wrestling
got a chance, but after that, it will be done. He's too muscular. Build that
it's a wrestling match. It's a wrestling match. He's going to lay on him. He's going to maul him like a bear. And at the end of the day, the only concern I have for him is that he did really well at 256 pounds going up against like a walking coat rack in Wilder. Wilder is like ridiculously thin. Yeah. But Wilder has put on weight. And Fury has gone berserk with weight. Like when the fight was supposed to happen in July, he wanted to walk in at 300 pounds. I don't know if he's gone.
He's weighed 4 and change before though. He's weighed 4 and change. You know that, eh?
Well, sure. But the thing is, remember his fight with Bermain? Wilder's first fight with Bermain. He just stayed away from him and beat him from the outside. If Fury's too big and too slow, it may be a different story. Wilder may have more of an
he won't be though. He won't be. He won't.
You don't think so?
He'll be in shape for this. No, I don't think so. I think he's got his focus.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but I saw him do an interview on Sky Sports last week. He's not that big. He's not that big.
No?
He's pretty good shape.
As long as he's not boozing in the trailer park with his family.
He's not going to be doing that anymore. He's not going to be doing that anymore. The thing I was going to say though is that the first time I fought Wilder, everybody was saying, "Man, you got to stay away from this guy's power. If the guy lands, he's going to knock you out." Because the guy was 41-0 with 40 or 41 knockouts, and everybody was telling this guy, and he'd seen the guy fight, and he knew what kind of power he was, so he was fighting a cautious fight. After the first fight, which clearly he won, but they called it a draw. Yep. After the first fight, there's the second fight. He threw all caution out the window. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He knew there's nothing to fear about this guy. He knew he'd taken his best shots, and he still is there. And so why stand outside and we're at the point where this guy can land? Get on him, get him, do it, like fight your fight, box him, hit him, box him, hit him, for no fear at all, and he'll just take care of business.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one question.
Sure.
Mandy, are you going to turn professional?
No, I don't. No? I don't have any plans. No, I don't have any plans to.
Well, maybe you can help our young athletes and help our future Canadian women champions get to the Olympics.
Exactly.
Maybe you can be up there and start coaching for Team Canada.
Yeah, I offered my services. I already told the organization that I'm here. I have my 1 star to be able to coach at that level. I have my NCCP as well. But I'm not going to beg for the opportunity. If they want to keep athletes in the system and keep us engaged and now bring us over to the coaching side, like I said, I'm here. But I've seen way too many coaches begging for it, and I said,
I agree, Mandy, and I've seen it in the past, and that's why a lot of former Olympians or former Canadian champions have got out of the sport because they're not made to feel welcome to come back and coach at that national team level.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but
hopefully you'll get the opportunity, because I think you're someone that the national team needs, especially young women.
Yeah.
Well, why would they not want to take advantage of somebody like Mandy? Look at the resume she's got, internationally and everything else.
No idea why.
All those gold medals
in the last 20 years, Joe.
Yeah, it does happen, but we don't know why.
Yeah, but why would they not want to take advantage of that? It's just that's when egos and stupidity get
before some other country gets the opportunity and poaches her.
Yeah.
Right.
That might happen.
Yeah. Just like they did with Ariane, right? Ariane's now over. It was actually kind of cool to see her.
She was in Korea, was she not?
Yeah, she's coaching the Korean national team, but she was at the Olympics.
Amazing.
She was over there for 3 months, and they gave her the opportunity to go coach the women. The first time they had 2 women qualify, and she was in their corner, and she was running 100% their program. Like we should have brought Ariane on. She would have been an awesome person for the team.
100%. Well, hopefully you'll get the opportunity.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Mandy, what's your thoughts on the centralization program? Like the whole idea of being centralized out of Montreal when it comes to the Olympic team. Are you a pro for that? Are you against that? What's your thoughts on all that?
So, I mean, the fact that I gave up all my funding to stay home, that tells you enough of what I think about the program. But no, I don't, boxing to me, it's an individual sport. You come together as a team. You need to have a team, a good support system. But it has to be people that you connect with. And be like individual, like who's that coach that really pushes you and drives you to get the results that you need to get. Like at that time, I was training with Adrian, and Adrian didn't even have to say anything to me when we got into the ring. He expected a certain level from me, and I gave him that plus some. And that's why I was able to reach the level that I did, is because of that dynamic that I had with my coach, where you can't force that. And you can't all of a sudden say, hey, you guys are all here. Here's a program. And from what I know, talking to the other athletes that are there, it's not great. They don't ever do pad work. They hardly get sparring. It's the stuff that you want, that one-on-one attention. They don't get it. It's everything very here's broad. All of our athletes need to work on this because maybe one of our athletes actually needs to work on it. So we're all going to work on this. But each athlete's individual. Each athlete has their own style.
And you got there from your personal coaches. It's not like you're a synchronized swimming team or a soccer team where you have to gel with each other the whole year to participate in a big event like the Olympics. Boxing is an individual sport. And I agree, have a training camp for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks as a team building. But as far as, your style, you go and you're there for a year in Montreal, wherever it is, you're not getting the sparring. They're not letting you spar for the people you want to spar with. And I heard it right from Lucas Body, and that was the reason why he turned pro, because of neglect from when he was in Montreal. They wouldn't even let him spar the guy he was trying to beat to get to the Olympics. And that guy didn't even end up going to the Olympics. So... And they told him basically firsthand, so you're not fighting at this weight class. It's already taken. And that guy wasn't even able to go to that Olympics in that weight class. And I heard the same from the participant that already went to the Olympics, that he was only allowed to go into that Olympics at that weight class. And he was 4 kilos or 3 kilos underweight. And didn't have to lose any weight, you know what I mean? So he's not at the top of his division in that weight class. So it's unfair, and the system has to change. And Mandy is so 100% right.
Yeah, we talk about you a lot in the show here. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Mandy.
No, I just said it's going to change. It's going to change soon.
All right.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah, good.
We quite a lot here in the show. And
when we've had some success, as a boxing power, because there was a long time where Canada was a team to be reckoned with, right?
Yeah.
And that was back in the day. And Mike, when you guys were allowed, you were allowed to have your coaches with you, right? And sure, you had training camps and everything else to get ready, but your coach was with you. and you have to have that. You have to have that coach with you in order to be at your best. Can you imagine if Adrian wasn't in, Lennox's corner, or Arnie wasn't in Lennox's corner?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or
And at least
Jimmy
Joe,
wasn't
give the personal coaches the option
in
of paying their way to go into the corner.
Egerton's
They're not even given
corner.
that option.
Yeah,
to raise money to have those coaches go to the Olympics and to have Sydney Vanderpool in Mandy's corner. I think it would have made a huge difference.
Yeah, massive difference. Massive difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we actually see this discussion in the show a lot because we all agree like this is not the right system. It's not working. I mean, the results are there. It's not working out for us. So yeah, we all agree. Personal coach is the way to go. It's no debate there at all. Exactly. Hey guys, we're out of time already.
Damn.
Right out of time. But hey, guys, as always, a real pleasure having the show. Thanks for coming on. So I want to thank Mr. Joe Tilley over there and JM and Mike Buddha Strange, by the way, and of course Raymond over there, and of course Mandy. So hey guys, once again, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining me here on the show, and thanks folks for watching the show. Thanks for watching. We see you guys real soon. Remember, Zingo TV. Check out and watch for all the news. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Thank you, everyone, and thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. See you soon. Take care.
Until next time. Thanks again.
Peace. Cheers.